Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after a lengthy holiday break here in the summer. Back here on Instigating with Clarkie and Drury. There's Clarkie, I'm Drury, and we're getting into that stretch time of the CFL season, and who better to talk about CFL football than our buddy, the voice of your Toronto Argos, our Toronto Argos, okay? Mike Hogan joins us. Hoagie, how are you, brother?
I know they're Clarkies. Have you come around yet?
Yeah, I told you last year I was.
I'm just trying to keep going.
I'm going to keep going, and I want to ask you right up front here as we sit here talking on Wednesday, August 26th. The Argos are 5-5. I want to ask you straight up, Hoagie, are they realistic contenders for the Grey Cup? If they are, why? And if they're not right now, what needs to change for them to be?
I will answer by saying yes. I think they're a contender. Obviously, I'm biased. There's no question about that. But when you look at the Canadian Football League, the teams that have the best chance to win are the teams with the best quarterbacks. And Chad Kelly is, if he's not the best, he's in the top 2 or 3. He moves the ball almost at will at times and just has that offense humming. The only thing that's killed them are turnovers. When they don't turn the ball over, they have an exceptionally high chance of winning the football game, like any team. But Chad seemed to come in bunches. They have a deep receiving core. At one point, they had all 5 receivers on pace for 1,000 yards, which is stupid. Mackay Polk got hurt, so he's no longer on pace, and Tyler Commons on pace for just under 1,000. So they still could have 4,000-yard receivers this year, which is pretty nuts. Defensively, the team added Sean Lemon, brought back Dwayne Hendricks as well. In the first 6 games, they had 9 sacks. In the last 4, they have 15. They have released the Hounds and are much better defensively than they were at the beginning of the season. And the special teams have been really good. Janarian Grant has a couple of touchdowns already this year. So when all 3 parts of the team are firing well, they have as good a chance as any team in the CFL.
Tell me about the running game, because it has been not great at the beginning, but rookie Isaiah Smith seems to have turned it around, at least in the last game. Is this guy the real deal?
It's funny, when he was drafted in the 2nd round, the experts ripped the pick. Isaiah's come in. He's been a backup for the most part and played special teams and got the opportunity to be the lead dog last week against Hamilton. Ended up with 99 yards. He's out of Guelph. He's a power back. He's about 240 pounds, as is Quaylen Jones, who played his first CFL game last week and is another 240-pounder. They just are bringing the physicality that head coach Mike Miller wants to play with. So the running game seems to have found a little bit this rookie year. He's more of the lightning to go with the thunder. He had 2 or 3 really big, ridiculous long runs this year, but I think they want a little bit more pound, a little more consistency, and that's what I think they'll get out of Quaylen Jones.
And it certainly helped on Saturday. Now, I was actually thinking of going to Saturday's game, and thankfully I didn't, because the weather conditions weren't exactly great. Have you ever seen the rain come in like that at BMO?
Not at BMO.
No.
This is 10 years ago. Now 2016 was the first year, and I think I've seen rain twice, and just kind of that light, steady drizzle thing. Maybe one, not downpour, but a heavier rain. Saturday was crazy. C&E, we expected it, sadly, but the Lightning went a little bit longer than I think we had hoped. They'll play through rain. Okay, it's not baseball. I mean, you don't have to worry about a ball slipping out of a guy's hand and killing somebody like you do in baseball. But the guys would have played through rain, but there was a lot of lightning, and that was the problem on Saturday night. So it was about an hour-long delay, and they got through it. And God love the people who stayed, because they were soaked.
Yeah. My daughter and her boyfriend were there, and they get soaked.
Well, they're tougher than you are.
I know they are, but I also live 2.5 hours away. They're in Hamilton, and which is a funny story too, because they just moved to Hamilton from Oakville. And I was over there a couple weeks ago, and my daughter's boyfriend Dan said, "Do you want to go to the Ticat game?" And I'm like, "Well, who are they playing?" Saskatchewan. I said, "Sure, let's go cheer for Saskatchewan." So we hate watched. Unfortunately, Hamilton won. So, but we were cheering for Saskatchewan, and it didn't work out. But yeah, the running game definitely helps in the rain. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the interior guys, especially on that offensive line, love to run block. Left tackle Desmond Bland loves to run block. Most offensive linemen do, because there's the old adage: it's better to be the hammer than the nail. Right, you're the guy that's going out and pounding the guy as opposed to setting yourself and catching the other guy. So the guys on the inside really like that. Well over 100 yards on Saturday, and hope to do it again this Saturday in Regina.
Now, on a personal note, I took the dog for a walk during the rain delay, and I tuned into TSN radio, and it was just like old times. Mike Hogan talking sports radio.
Yeah.
Did that bring back some memories for you? Because you had time to
that's
fill.
Never left. Oh, you mean like the rain delay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I guess it's the old instincts, right? 18 years working with you at the Fan, and then another 7 or 8 at TSN.
Yeah.
Now still doing the TSN play-by-play. So I guess, the instincts took over.
Yeah.
You know what it's like? My favorite days at the Fan or at TSN, but particularly at the Fan, when we were doing Blue Jay rainouts. We didn't have a script. And I remember one night in particular, it was me and Dan Schulman and Scott Ferguson who went in there and just talked for probably an hour and a half. No script. We had no idea where we were going. No guests. Let's talk baseball, and had a blast. And that's what it was like with Ben Grant, my color voice, on Saturday night. We never run out of things to say. So it's just, okay, what this segment? I don't know. Let's talk O-line. Okay, boom, let's go. And between the two of us, we can get through it. So yeah, I had the training, put it that way, to get through the hour long, the 90-minute pregame show.
Yeah. And another side note, I've reconnected with our old buddy Lance Chomick.
Nice kicker.
He works at Fire Rock, and I was at Fire Rock, and all of a sudden there's Lance, and he was there, and we've reconnected. His record's never going to be broken up.
No. There are guys. We put 2 more all-time Argos in, deservedly so. Kevin Ivan went in, and Carl Brazeley went in, and there's a backlog of about 10 guys who should be in there. Chomick's kicking record his points record will never be broken. I think he's got 1,600. Next on the list is 1,000.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And Prefontaine was here for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not like he was here for 2 years. So Lance's record will never be caught.
Yeah.
And he should be an all-time Argo. There's no question about that.
And what a solid.
The bugger doesn't age either, does he?
What's that?
He doesn't age.
No.
Yeah, unlike Clarkie, he looks fantastic. Chom looks great. I mean,
shot fired.
Friend of the show. Now, Clarkie looked pretty good. I got to ask you, Hoagie, tell us a little bit about Mike Miller and the job that he's done so far. Obviously, taking over for Ryan Didwitty, and we'll touch on him in a little bit here and the situation that he finds himself in. But tell us a little bit about this guy. What's he like as a coach? What's he like with the players? Tell us a little bit about his style, maybe how it differs from the previous regime.
Yeah, Mike's awesome. I don't think there was anybody who was unhappy when he was promoted to take over for Ryan when Dinwiddie went to Ottawa. Mike had been the quarterback's coach, for those who don't know, for 4 years. He came up to Canada after pretty good run in the NFL. He was mostly with the Arizona Cardinals, and he was their receivers coach, with a couple of 1,000-yard receivers when they went to the Super Bowl, and he was their offensive coordinator the next year. So he's got pretty good football background. His first job was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Any job was with the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day. So he's a Pittsburgh native. So he grew up watching the Steelers of the 70s, and that's the kind of football he likes. He likes really, really, really physical, aggressive football. And it's funny because he's not that kind of guy. So when you hear him say, talk about the Smash Mouth stuff, it's like you expect a guy, who's drinking, Jameson out of a broken bottle, right? He's not that guy. But that's the kind of football that he likes to coach up. And the players love him. There was a story back in camp at Guelph, and it was in the 3rd week, I think. So guys were starting to get a little, is this over yet? And about 10 or 15 minutes into a practice in the middle of a week, he goes, "Hey!" And everybody stops and looks in. "Get in here!" And all the players kind of run to the middle of the field. "Staff too!" And it's like, oh, God, Miller's pissed. We haven't seen this yet. This is not good. And he said, "I thought that our goal here was to be professionals and work hard every day. Have we been doing that? The guys they don't know what's going on. They're going, yes, they're really low. Yeah, yes, sir. Have we been doing that? Like, I've been asking you to do that. Yes, sir. And he does that about 4 or 5 times. And then he said, well, if you think so do I. I agree. So today we're going to the movies.
Wow.
10 minutes in, he called practice. Guys went to a bus. We went and watched Project Rocky, or no, what was it called? Project
Hail Mary. Yeah.
Nice.
Not a football movie.
No, it's not. I don't know who picked the movie. Maybe they thought it was because of the name.
Yeah.
But, we all, everybody, players, staff, coaches, everybody got on the buses and went over and watched a movie, and then went back and did a little film work, and everybody was happy. It gave the guys a day off when they needed one,
nice.
Both mentally and physically. And if he hadn't won over the players already, that did it.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, Project Hail Mary, because it's a movie about Ryan Gosling being out in space with a little alien rock thing. And you want to talk about being in outer space right now. I referenced him a couple minutes ago. Former Argos head coach Ryan Dinwiddie, who is the head honcho now in Ottawa. Boy, Hoagie, like, you want to talk about being lost in outer space. I think he feels like he's lost in outer space right now. Like, what's wrong with this team? Because obviously they're winless this year, and trailing back to last year, it's 16 straight losses. Like, I don't know if even he thought that it was going to be this bad of a project to pick up the pieces with when he took over there. Like, what is wrong in Ottawa right now, Hoagie?
It's really tough to talk about another team since I'm on the payroll of another team. But
yep.
There have been, in most of the games they're in it. They'll get through the first half, they get through 3 quarters, and they'll be around there at the end and keep it close. And then there are other games, and probably more than anybody expected going into the year, where they don't have the horses. I think they've got a really good coaching staff over there. We saw Ryan over here, worked with him for 5 years, won 2 Grey Cups, got to the Eastern Final 4 times. It's not like he got dumb overnight. He's still a good coach. There's a couple of guys who he brought with him from Toronto, good coaches. I just don't think they have the horses right now. It's cyclical. He's going to want to put his stamp on his team and get his players in there, and he's the general manager as well. Sean Burke just got released this week, so and they brought in Jim Pop as an advisor, and Jim and Ryan would have worked together for a bit in Montreal. So when RD was a young assistant coach at that stage, so Pop's got a wealth of experience, obviously, and intelligence, and I owe Jim a lot getting my job with the Argos. He was the GM here when they hired me. So playing us, but really when they play Hamilton.
So we're at 5. Oh, not we. I can't say we. You're at 500. 500.
We.
Exactly. We. Okay. We're at 500. How difficult has this first half been not being at BMO?
It's been tough. Like, you can sugarcoat it all you want, but guys wanted to go home by the end of it. There's no question about that. I mean, Guelph was great. Guelph, I think we have the best facility for a training camp in the CFL. Everything you could possibly need. The facilities are great. The field is great. The dorm rooms for the players are right there. The food is great, like everything. But, it's going to run its course at some point where guys want to get out of a new apartment and just go and play games at home in front of Argo fans. It was a grind. There were, in the first 9 weeks of the season, the Argos had 1 home game and played in every stadium. They played 9 games in 9 different stadiums to begin the season, which is ridiculous. 2 games at home, 2 wins. They really like BMO Field. The fans do mean something in football. And, of course, after that, now we got 2 more road games. Saskatchewan this week, and then Labor Day. And then we get home against Ottawa. Tickets on sale at argonaut.ca.
I'm going to try to go.
I hope so. If Ryan Dinwiddie gets 1 win all year, this is the one he's going to want to get, right? Against his former team. He wasn't fired here. He left on his own accord, but he still wants to put the boots to his old team, and I'm sure the guys here feel likewise. So, a friendly rivalry, but a rivalry nonetheless. So, yeah, I think it just kind of wore on everybody. And now there's a lot more normalcy. Guys didn't have to commute. A lot of guys who were living in Toronto, who had families, were making the commute from Toronto to Guelph every day, which ain't fun. I was in Whitby. I stayed for training camp, and then I was only going to do it once a week. Driving there at 5 o'clock in the morning wasn't bad, but driving home at 2 o'clock in the afternoon wasn't fun. It'd be 2.5, 3 hours. So, I think guys were just kind of sick of the traffic and normalcy, and now it feels like this is the season again. And man, you talk about toughening up a team mentally. If that doesn't do it, nothing will.
How are your Eagles going to do?
Be fine. They'll make the playoffs. They'll win the division, and we'll see how healthy they are in the playoffs. Curious to see how the Lemon kid looks at a USC, their first-round pick. They lose a hell of a receiver in AJ Brown going to the Patriots. But
yes, thank you for that.
Yeah, well, yeah,
thank you, Hoagie.
Yeah, it'll be great for a year.
Well, that's all we really need.
Understood.
If Drake May, the best deep ball thrower in the league, can get something out of this guy, I mean, he can't say he won't be motivated. I mean, he's going to need a new deal, and I mean, he's got something to prove. Obviously, he wanted more of the ball in Philly, and he complained nonstop. So
yeah, when he got the ball in the playoffs, he dropped it, or didn't run his routes. So it's too bad for him because he was such a great receiver in Philadelphia, and I guarantee you, 95% of the guys that remember AJ Brown are going to remember his terrible playoff game against San Francisco. They lost by, I think, was it 3 or 7, but they lost by 1 score, and he should have been a difference maker, but he was terrible in that game.
Should have had 2 touchdowns in that game, Hoagie.
Yep.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, we can't sugarcoat that either, but I am excited to see what he does in Patriot land. I want to swing it back to the CFL real quick, Hoagie. Obviously, speaking of the U of G, by the way, big news, Luke Wilson, fellow CFL commentator, joining the U of G's coaching staff, Clarkie. We got to get him on the show.
I got a number. I got contact. We'll get him on.
I know you have the info. Okay, so we got to ask him about joining the coaching ranks. The Magic Mullet himself joining the U of G. How about that? Who's the Grey Cup favorite right now, Hoagie? Like, Montreal's the easy one to say. I mean, they've lost 1 game, but I mean, you look out west there, and like, how about the turnaround for Edmonton? Because they were mired in the muck for an extended period of time. That's a great football town too, and now they've had a big resurgence. They're 8-3. Could they potentially be the contender? Is it the Argos? Is it a sleeper we're not talking about? Who would you be putting money down on right now outside of the Argos?
Montreal in the East is the easy one. They're the alpha dog. Everybody's chasing them right now. And they've got, I think, maybe the top 2 candidates for MOP right now in Philpott and Alexander. They've been dynamite together. Out west, I think we saw a little bit too much of Edmonton a couple of weeks ago. That was one of the most physical football games I have seen in a
They're nasty.
long
time. They are nasty, Hoagie.
Both teams were just bringing it the entire game, and that game was on a Saturday, so come Monday morning, there would have been a lot of creaky bodies trying to get out of bed. So their defense is just super aggressive, not only in the physicality standpoint, but go getting the football. Cody Fajardo's played really well. Their back Rankin had 4 100-yard games in the first 5, then kind of fell off the map. And he didn't run very well against us, but he had 2 catches that were huge for them. So, them finding a way to keep him involved, even if the running game isn't going well. I think they're the alphas out west, and Saskatchewan seems to be in a bit of a slump right now. They've lost a couple in a row, including one to Hamilton. So we've got them on Saturday. So Corey Mace will not be in a good mood this week, and I'm sure that they will be super prepared for him to beat, again, his former team.
I'm curious as well, Hoagie, just, a couple years ago, when some of the new rule changes got announced, like there were a lot of people, old school CFL fans, that were a little apprehensive about it. Luke Wilson was actually one of the ones who was really touting it and saying this is going to improve the league. What have you seen out of that so far? And are there any other changes that maybe need to come to the league that you would like to see instituted, or is it just fine the way it is now?
35-second clock works. No question about it. It's really improved the pace of the game. The benches on opposite sides of the field works. I mean, it was only a case in the Eastern teams. It was weird and a coincidence, but all of the Eastern teams had the benches on the same side of the field. All of the Westerns already had the benches on opposite sides. So that works. I mean, that was really no big deal. And I do like, even though it costs the Argos in Hamilton, I do like the fact that you're not rewarded for a wide point. I don't mind that. Old school me would have said it's part of the game and it rewards field position like the game with rugby. I get that. I respect that. But now that I work in communications, my nightmare is a tie game, last kick of a Grey Cup, and a team wins a Grey Cup on a wide field goal that can't be returned. That's my nightmare. I'm kind of happy about that now that I'm on the other side of the fence. And it doesn't really matter to me as a fan as long as it's consistent. I don't really miss the single on the wide field goal at all, though. That was one I didn't mind.
And remind us what's coming in next year. They're moving the goalpost back and
moving the goalpost back. It'll be a 15-yard end zone.
Right. The field will only be 100 yards. Right?
Yeah, the field will be 100 yards. They're getting rid of the 55, so 50 will be midfield.
Yeah.
I have a wait and see attitude, to be honest. Something's got to change. Attendance has been dwindling. The on-field product has been really good. I don't think there's any question about that. But there is a perception in trying to grow the league to a younger fan base that the CFL is a joke because the goalposts were on the goal line and you get a point for a wide field goal. They didn't accept the differences. So if we're going to grow the league, and we have to grow the league, it's worth a shot. And if it doesn't work, change back. Or if there's been enough negative feedback, change back. This is not, we've done it for 150 years this way, now we're going to change. Don't forget, the field used to be 25-yard end zones, right? Touchdowns used to be worth 5 points back in the day. So there have been major changes to the game. The game survives, and I'm sure it's going to survive whatever changes happen going into next year. And if those changes help the league thrive, bully. If not, we can always change back.
Absolutely. Well, one thing that we definitely don't want to see change is the voice behind our boatman.
Hold on. I got one more question.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well,
we don't want to see
I don't know
change.
if we've spoken to Hoagie since his Hartford Whalers / Carolina Hurricanes. Were you pumped for that?
We got to bring that up.
I hadn't watched a lot of hockey over the last, it's like Clarkie when you work in sports every day, right?
Yeah.
And for 25 years in this market, I was force-fed Leafs and Blue Jays and Raptors and had to talk about them every day, whether there was a story or not.
Yeah.
And I had to cleanse the palate when I got out of sports radio. So I watch CFL, NFL, I'll watch Canadian University ball, watch some golf, watch the Raptors. Hadn't really watched hockey a lot.
Interesting.
Started watching the playoff run this year. I kind of follow them at length just because they were there. But yeah, they were fun. If I coached a hockey team, I would want to coach them the way that Brendamore does. Speed, forecheck. You don't rely on one line. You roll 4 lines as much as possible. Guys who can headman the puck and forecheck the hell out of them in the other end. And that's the style of hockey I've always loved. And the Hurricanes played it to a T. So if they had played a different style, I might not have liked it for 100 years. And they're playing the style that I really like. Coach is really likable. Most of the players were really likable. So it was fun to sit back and watch, even though I work for MLSE now.
Yeah. Well, and just on that note, this is the Leafs year, just so you know.
There you go. We heard it here first. I've been hearing it here first for the last 30 years that I've known Clarkie.
Yeah. You've heard it every year. This is it, though.
In case you haven't heard
35 years now, brother.
Scary,
92.
Yeah.
Unbelievable stuff. Well, it might be the Argos year again. You never know. And we know who we'll be listening to if that journey comes complete again. And it's our friend Mike Hogan. Hoagie, thanks so much for doing this, brother. We really appreciate it.
Let me know when you're in town.
I will.
Will do. There he is.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Mike Hogan, ladies and gentlemen, the voice of our boatmen. Okay. The Argos. I mean, hey, they're 500. They're coming alive offensively. They've been pretty good defensively all year.
I was just thinking, like, BMO Field is such a great stadium to watch a game in.
It really is.
And it obviously the players love with the real grass and everything else. And it's like, let's get some people down there. You know, you don't want to beg because
real
that's not
grass.
good. But like, let's go. Let's get some people in there. You know, we should do a show down there one day.
And you know what? I bet you we could do that, and I bet you Hoagie would be the guy that could probably hook that up for us.
We communications guy, manager. So yeah,
literally just set up like we don't take up much. Oh, I don't. We don't take up much space.
Excuse me. I just saw you yesterday. You do take up more space than me. Okay,
relax over there. We just set up a little corner on the concourse there, overlooking the field. We don't.
Hold on. We can go on the field after the game.
There. We could do that too. Absolutely.
After the game, when CSN goes on, we're not live anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, we're not live.
Let's do a show down there.
I'm interested.
I'm
interested. Okay. You know, it might need to happen soon or next year because I don't know.
It could get cold down there. Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. I don't know if you've heard. I'm going to be pretty busy in the next couple months with a certain OHL club.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have. Guelph hosting the Memorial Cup this year. It's going to be really fun down there. Our friend Mike Gentile is set to join us.
He's coming. He'll be here in a second.
There's a lot to touch on with him, and I mean, but before we get him on here, okay. So we met up. I met up with you over at the Tipsy Fox here in Listowel. Okay, you're in town golfing. You were golfing with my landlord, actually.
Yeah, Matt Hutchison. Yeah,
Hutchison. Yes, Big Hutch
with Jeff Sage from. Kia, Listowel Kia, and his buddy Dino. So they're all neighbors there. So yeah, Matt, your landlord. Because he saw me and he's like, I've seen you somewhere before. And I'm like, well, I don't know.
On that annoying podcast that my tenant.
And then he figured it out. So shout out to Matt.
Matt's a beauty.
He played well too.
He didn't think so. I asked him how he played, and he was not very happy with how he shot.
I was playing well until I blew up, which has been my case lately. I got a 9 on like the 8th hole, and I'm like, I birdied the first hole. Matt and I both birdied the first hole. Like I think it was the 6th or 7th hole. He said to me, like, what do you play to? What's your handicap? Like, and I said like 18, and he looked at me like, I'm not that good, but I show signs of brilliance when I listen to my coach Ian Doig. I can play well
in your head,
but when all of a sudden things go awry, here's my biggest problem, and I know it is. I got to hit the green in regulation. If I'm off the green 5 feet, 50 feet, I cannot. I just chunk everything, and it's obviously a lot of
show me any
problems.
Golfer, right?
Exactly. No, it's a lot of people's problems, but it's almost to the point where as soon as I get close to the green, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, speaking of the green and not being in sync with it, in the green, in this case is money. How about our guy Vlad, man? Like, and we'll talk to Gentile about it, but this is just content. You were adamant with me before holidays, before we took 2 weeks off, and I went up to the lake.
Yes, I was.
You were adamant, Vlad. It just takes one swing, and he did hit a home run the very next night in Philly.
Yeah, and our buddy Rob Longley texted us and said, "There we go. There's the swing."
Yeah.
And I said, look out, it's turned around.
It turns out that it didn't turn around, and he still can't hit a home run in the home confines of the Rogers Center. It is absolutely flabbergasting. Like, I feel like a broken record. We come on here and talk about baseball, and it's just like, how bad is this guy? Yeah. It's just absolutely unbelievable. Like, what do they got? 32 games left, I believe, as we record this. Their first pitch is already underway.
I think less than that, 29
Wednesday.
Or something, isn't it now?
It might be 30 bang on. And, you know, they're playing the Royals, who they dropped the first game to on Tuesday night. The Royals, who are way out of it, like they're not even involved. They've won 9 straight.
They've won 9 straight. Yeah. And that's not who the Jays needed to run into at this time. Because like the rest of the way, they really don't play any teams that are over 500. Now
they don't play a single one.
But there's some now but it could change, right? Because like Cleveland's at 500. There's 3 or 4 teams now. It's 66 and 66. So they could start to play teams over 500, and all the teams. But so they got to capitalize on those. That's the problem. They're not capitalizing. Everything was great, but like. Scherzer last night, and now it's a bullpen game, I think, tonight.
So I don't think anything's been
Bieber
great.
back on the DL or whatever.
Yeah, Bieber's, and like he's starting to get into a territory where it's like, can you even bring this guy back? Like, I mean, he has that explosion against the Nationals right before the deadline where most experts were pegging him to be traded. Yep. Then he, walks 1,000 guys and implodes in Washington. He ends up sticking around. Then his next 3 or 4 starts, he's really good.
Yeah, I know.
Looks like old school Shane Bieber, and now he's on the IL. Like, they can't keep guys healthy. I don't know what's going on down there.
But we can't go with 3-man rotation here, Max Scherzer and a bullpen. Like, is there no one in Buffalo that could come up and start a couple of games? Like, I don't know. Like last year, we were spoiled.
Where did Bowden Francis go? Like, this guy has disappeared off the face of the earth. Like, where is he? What happened to that guy?
I don't know where he is.
He shows up in 2024 and puts together a really nice season.
He did.
What, he finished with like a 3.30 ERA? And then he exploded in 2025. Like, they couldn't even use him, and he was gone. And now he's like an afterthought. I haven't even heard his name spoken. Like, yeah, is there nobody down there? And then, like, you look down the list at Tiedemann, who's already had a bunch of injury problems. What's he, like 24 years old? And it already looks like he's going to be an injury-riddled guy that already didn't have insane velocity or anything like that. I don't know, man. And I'm curious, and I'll definitely be asking Gentile's opinion on this. You have to think that with how bad the American League is this year, and you bring up Cleveland, and I'm glad you brought them up because, they're back at 500.
Yep.
They're scraping. And, like, how about the White Sox? What a turnaround for the White Sox.
For sure.
The White Sox are really good.
They're leading.
They're not the Cubs, but they're pretty good. They're pretty darn good. They're going to win that division. You look at the Guardians, they have the lowest payroll in baseball. They got one bona fide star in Jose Ramirez. Stephen Kwan's had a nice turnaround, but you wouldn't put him down as a star, but J-Ram definitely is. And, Ramirez isn't even having that good of a season. I know he's been banged up a little bit by his standards. And there they are right there with the lowest payroll in ball, and they're competing for a wild card. If the Jays miss the playoffs, which seemed like an insane thing to say this even just a couple months ago with how bad they looked. If they miss the playoffs in this American League,
right,
and a team like Cleveland gets in there,
excuse.
You would have to think that John Schneider would not survive that, Clarky.
Okay, but let's not blame John Schneider. Like, let's blame the management, the guy.
But they're not going to get rid of Ross. He just signed a 5-year extension. Ross loves him. Ed loves him.
Get him some players who can hit a home run, not Anthony Santander. And where's Vladdy?
I agree. I agree.
And Barger,
who's the easiest guy to get rid of? It'll be the manager.
But I don't want. I like.
They'll
him.
fire.
I like.
They'll fire John, and I don't mind him either. Like, people hate on this guy. I like him. I like the cut of his jib. I don't mind Schneider. Like, yeah, does he talk his way around some problems? I don't care. Yeah. He gets pissed off and he's passionate and he gets in umps. Like, I like that. He's old school as a manager.
And by the way, Bowden Francis had Tommy John in February.
Okay, yes, I forgot about that. Yes, you're right. He blew his elbow
for the year,
apart.
so he's done.
And you would hope that he can maybe come back and capture a bit of that magic that he had, or at least be a useful bullpen guy.
It doesn't sound like he's even throwing
or something. No, he's not. He won't be throwing if he had Tommy John in February. He won't be throwing until next April.
Yeah.
Optimistically. But they'll get rid of Schneider. That's probably what they'll do. And Ross will pitch it in his year-end press conference that they'll probably call at 8 a.m. on a Sunday. He'll pitch it as, well, we just feel like John maybe lost some of the players, and he'll reference Kevin Gosman's interview that he gave Mike Wilner before he was traded to the Cubbies about how the dynamic in the clubhouse is different this year, and we miss Chris Bassett. And we don't he said, quote unquote, we don't love each other like we did last year. He'll reference that and go, that's John's fault. And like, Clarky, we are talking about a guy that they just absolutely bowling ball threw under a bus with the Barrios thing. You don't think that Ross is going to turn around and point a gun at this guy and say, get out if they miss the playoffs?
It's not his fault. I know I just said that, but it's just not his fault.
but he will be blamed for it, though.
I get it.
The Barrios thing wasn't his fault.
And let's be serious here. Ross, everything fell into place for Ross last year. Everything.
Oh, did it ever?
For the only time
since
the only time in his time here in Toronto, and it's right back to where it was. Like, I don't know, man. He's the problem. We need to bring in someone else.
Well, because like Cleveland, like they never had a run like this in Cleveland. And I mean, they leave Cleveland and then all of a sudden they go to the World Series, lost to the Cubs, but that's what happened, right? He was still there for that and helped put that together. But like, you want to talk about a couple times where things just fell together for now. That Cleveland team, let's be fair, whilst not spending tons and tons of money, had a lot of good young players on it, of course. But man, I just think that that's what we're looking at now with how bad the rest of it. Houston is in first place in the AL West, and they just fired their general manager, and they let their manager know that he's not coming back at the end of the year, and he's going to stay and stick out the season.
Yeah.
Like, that's the type of thing we're talking about here. You don't think that Ross Atkins, as we're joined by our friend from the Fan590.
Let's let him time to get his headset on here.
Let's give him time to get
still getting organized.
He'll get the headset on. We'll
hello.
Here. All right. There he is.
You made it.
Oh my goodness. Technology.
He was having a little bit of email problems, but we got it solved and he's here now. So let's just continue the show here.
And I want to ask him right away, the topic we were just discussing. Mike, if the Jays miss the playoffs in this terrible American League, and a team like, say, Cleveland, who has the lowest payroll in baseball, who's at 500, and they get in instead, do you think that will cost John Schneider his job?
No.
Really?
Will it cost anybody?
Why not?
No. And it shouldn't.
I agree it shouldn't. I think
it should cost Ross Atkins his job. He's done nothing.
They went to the World Series last year.
Yeah, 1 year.
Perennial winning team.
Congratulations.
That was last year.
They had a bizarre year of injuries. I mean, listen, you can break it down, the injuries. You could break down the sloppy play, which is terrible. The fact they can't hit. I think you could hold it against Ross for not getting enough bats. But
yes,
their big investment didn't deliver. That's why they're out of the playoffs.
No doubt.
Okay, they're
is
big
that the sole
$500 million guy. That's why they're out of the playoffs.
I don't disagree, because if Vlad was even having an average year, like let's say he had 19 home runs right now, was on pace for something like 26, 27. He finished with, I believe, 22 last year. And people remember heading into the playoffs last year, people are upset that he only had low 20s. They'd take that now. Clarkie certainly would, because he's going to lose our bet. But let's just say he was having an average year. How many more wins would that be worth, Gentile? Like, if he had 19 home runs, they probably got, at least 4 more wins, maybe 5. Maybe they're at 500.
Absolutely. I mean, tell me what another manager would do that would prevent the Jays from going 6 for 41 at Yankee Stadium with runners in scoring position. How is a manager going to make them hit differently?
I don't know.
You can't, because he doesn't have the guys. He doesn't have the people to do it.
So to me, it's not on Schneider. It's on Atkins.
That's what.
Of course,
I agree.
Team on defense and on arms, and for the most part, it worked. It's the only thing holding them together this year. Varland was a great trade. Turned out to be their closer. Tyler Rogers was awesome. He's been like these guys have had bullpen days all year. We shouldn't even have to do that. And
I agree.
And they've been terrific. They can hit. And then in the last few games, it got sloppy again. And to me, there's like zero excuse. The errors, Vladdy not throwing someone out, like the errors.
The last out last night was like, you can't do that. I'm sorry.
Right.
You can't get out at second base.
They can hit. They're sloppy. And the injuries have destroyed their depth. And I'm not to blame it on the injuries guy, but you expected Santander. You expected Barger. I can be honest with you. That's about 50 home runs between the two of them. Darton Varsho, when he either wasn't playing or when he played, you didn't notice him there either. They lost all that. Like, no one hits on that team. They got no hitters.
It is crazy, isn't it?
And the thing is, because of those injuries and such, they've had to be desperate and use like Jesus Sanchez. That's desperate. Yeah. Why these? What if Davis Schneider could hit? and be decent. You know what?
And he did at
he
one
could.
point. He had some power. He's
Then
a
he'd be
big
in
guy.
left field. Then he'd be in left field, or he could play second base when someone got hurt, but zero.
I know.
So, like, the depth is destroying them.
Yeah.
Like, think about their whole outfield. No Barger, no Santander. They traded Varsho, right?
Yep.
The entire outfield is a complete mess.
Yeah.
Okamoto's been good, but here from an infield perspective, but he didn't replace Bo Bichette.
No.
A lot of people think his offense, his hitting replaced, ready for it, Dalton Varsho last year, where didn't carry the team, didn't drag the team. But then you look down, you're like, oh, he's got a good amount of home runs. Okay, that's pretty good. But not leading the team. Bo had 200 hits a year. Bo was always the AL hits leader. So they didn't replace the offense that went. They had way too many injuries. And then even with the pitchers, like Max Scherzer is a guy you cannot depend on. And they are depending on a guy that you can't depend on.
For sure. Absolutely.
Right? And so that's what happened. I think they got gutted that way. Personally, I'm a big injuries guy. I love blaming injuries for teams' lack of success.
Sure.
I know not everyone agrees, but it really
it makes a huge impact on the team. There's no doubt.
Of course, it makes a huge impact, Clarky. It's just that I think that what we've seen from this regime before, and again, they were happy to throw John Schneider under the bus with the Barrios thing, and they'll do it again here because Ross, at his end-of-year press conference that they host at 8 a.m. on a Sunday, will say, we're making a change. They'll do it so that they can sell people on buying tickets again next year and going, look, we're making this big change in the dugout and things are going to be different. We're going to get more serious and we're going to make a managerial change. And they'll blame him for the lack of love in the clubhouse that Kevin Gosman referenced on his way out. That's what they're going to do. They are going to railroad this guy.
I don't think they are.
I think they will. I think they will. And it'll come from up top. And I think that's what they're going to end up doing if they miss the playoffs here. Gentile, like you referenced Vlad. And look, I'm not trying to make excuses for a guy making $500 million, but yes, they lose Bo. Like when you look at the other competitive teams in the league this year, there's at least two, if not on really good teams, three guys that are insular hitters at the top of an order that all kind of protect and help each other, and the tide raises all ships. Vlad very much is, like, no disrespect to Ernie Clement and what Nathan Lucas can do. And yes, Okamoto's been a great story. He kind of is on an island by himself in terms of power, despite what Okamoto's done this year. When you look at the Yankees, if they're healthy, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton. You go over to the Cubs, PCA, Bregman, Horner, Bush, Dodgers, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, not Kyle Tucker. So that really does fall at Ross's feet here. They've got a brutal farm system. It's ranked 26th. They just traded their number 2 prospect for a pitcher who has looked okay at best in Soriano. I have faith that he'll be able to contribute, but they do not have guys coming through the system that are going to help. And they spent an awful lot of money on Anthony Santander, who might never play baseball again. Like, this guy is, I actually have to look him up online to be convinced he's real. It's a mess.
Oh, he's likely the worst free agent signing in Toronto sports history.
For sure. For sure.
Name me someone more. Hito Turkoglu didn't work out with the Raptors.
David Clarkson?
David Clarkson was bad. I get it. The difference is Santander got away with it because he's been hurt.
Yeah, but
like if he played poorly, he'd be getting booed and everyone would be on him. No one sees him. No one knows where he is.
Clarkson at least played. He was on the ice.
He was on the ice in a preseason game.
Yeah, he was
I mean, he shouldn't have been.
Yeah. Well, we were
went downhill
today,
from there.
We were saying today, what is the single worst season of a Toronto athlete ever? And to put that into context, you can't compare nothing to Vlad. Because how bad it is, it's unprecedented. I had a couple in mind. David Clarkson comes to mind.
For sure.
Vince Carter's last year with the Raptors was awful.
Yeah.
He gave up.
Being a big baby.
Right. But it was a bad year front to back. And even those can't compare to what we're seeing here. This is just a total nightmare. It hasn't worked. And my thing is, And if they get eliminated from the playoffs, the focus for me is going to be, what is he going to give you the rest of the way? Because this kind of waiting around for the hot streak, I tell you, they waited 130 games. It hasn't happened. And if you think he finishes the year exactly like this, are you two going to be confident that next year everything's just fine again? Like, I kind of want to see it. I want to see it. And so I don't want to hear any more about like, oh, the approach and the swing, and getting the barrel around. It's like he's either got an injury. He's either got an injury physically, or he's got a horrible issue mentally, like the yips, like when guys struggle and for some reason they can't figure out how to hit a ball down the middle of the plate. Like he's missing stuff that looks so easy.
It is unbelievable. Okay. It really is. Like this is like the worst ever. Like it's so bad.
His chase rate is out of control.
I don't know what you guys think about the moving him in the batting order.
Well, he shouldn't be batting second. Come on, put him down to 7th or 8th.
People are acting like this is like the end of the world if you move a guy. Right. I mean, I'll give you a name. Have you heard of Cal Rowley?
Yeah, exactly. What's he batting? 150.
All right. So his average is 167, I think.
Because he went 3 for 3.
He was at 100. He was at 158 a week.
3 homers in it. Yeah.
He's been hitting in the 6 hole. He hit 3 home runs in the 6 hole.
Yeah.
Then he hit a home run in the 5 hole last night.
Yeah. He's the Vlad for sure.
And I don't think for a minute, I could be wrong. I have no insight here. I don't think Vlad's the type that is playing prima donna and refusing to move. I don't think they've asked him to do it.
Well, why do they have to?
He's a team player.
Just put it. Someone does
supporting his team. Like, don't you think it's hard for him to throw the Gatorade on Chuck McAdoo when it should be Vladdy celebrated for hitting a game-winning home run?
Ryan knows how I feel about
he's
the
supporting
Gatorade.
His team. I think he's a team guy.
Yeah.
I think he would do it if he was asked. But even though I don't like that idea,
I don't know.
It's crazy.
Just put the line. Why do you got to ask him? I get it. He's making $500 million. You're also terrible right now. You're going down in the lineup, taking a little pressure off.
Yeah,
just put the lineup on the board in the dressing room.
And this is greater than all the other things we talked about. Bieber, Scherzer, Barrios disappeared.
Yes.
None of that matters if this guy's having an average year.
No kidding. Well, we were talking about it before you came on. You're right. Like it's all on him.
Right. You hate to blame, like we were saying we're getting Vladdy fatigue. We can't do it every day, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But here's the thing, guys. It doesn't have to be personal. No one's saying he's a bad human.
It's not.
Or a bad guy.
No, I like
season
Vlad.
Is terrible.
So who
there's no running. That's the tough thing about pro sports, guys. We talk about that a lot. Like, I'm sorry, it just is what it is. And yeah, I know people are frustrated having to listen to talking heads like us on every other station too, going, "Oh yeah, how bad is this guy?" It's flabbergasting. It's a $500 million player in the first year of a mega deal that's supposed to be in the prime of his career, and he has 8 home runs.
Yeah.
There's no amount of words that can summarize how absolutely insane this is. Like, he's lighting money on fire. Like, no one can be happy in there. And we know he's not either. It's obviously not personal.
And that's the only reason I would say that John Schneider takes some blame here, is not moving him in the lineup. Unless the computer is telling him not to, or he's getting word from above.
The computer might be. The computer might be. Yeah.
Well, put it this way, I don't think that they would want Vladdy to move, and John Schneider would block it.
Oh, I don't think he would block it.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he would block it.
No. To your point, like the computers, the laptops, the iPads would make that decision.
Right.
And so, like I said, I don't look at any managing moves that cost them their season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what's going to lend like even worse to that, type of theorizing. And I would bet that Ross will probably talk about this at the end of the year, and somebody will go, "Oh, that's interesting." The Angels, just before the All-Star break, fired their entire pitching staff, like their pitching coaches. They fired everybody and went purely off analytics and running it through their simulations. They now have an MLB best since they did that, 1.64 team ERA among their starters. Wow. So they're going to turn around. So people like Ross are going to turn around and be emboldened by something like that and go, oh, see, now we need to lean even heavier. I don't know. I hope that doesn't happen. You want to talk about getting personal and maybe people being offended. Let's switch over quickly to the other big star.
Hold on. I just want to talk.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
A little more Jays. Change the background back.
Okay, well, we don't have a lot of time. So
here's the problem with the bullpen game. Last night, watching the game. Oh, they can't do that because they're doing a bullpen game. Oh, they can't bring him in tonight because they're doing. It affects 2 games and possibly 3 because now they're Miles started. He pitched 2 innings tonight. Little's come in. The bases are loaded with 1 out. Now they're going to get him out without even maybe pitching 1/3 of an inning. He won't be available. You can't do these bullpen games. I know that they have been successful for them, but they need to get some starters. Like Ryan and I were saying, isn't there anyone at Buffalo who can start a game?
But what's weird? Like you lose Bieber, you lose your Savage, right? You had Barrios, you had Cody Ponce, Patrick Corbin started games for the team.
Oh God!
Like think of how many guys were in and out and just aren't around.
Yeah.
So I mean, we joked early that they're going to use an 8-man rotation to start.
Right.
They had too many guys.
Yeah.
So they're kind of screwed. And this is where baseball. So I looked at it like we're in phase 2 of 3 of can the Jays do it? Mm-hmm. Phase 1 was trade deadline to late August. Can you get in the race or not? They were out of the race. They got themselves in the race, got as close as a half game. Phase 1. Phase 3 is that last week of the season. Someone's going to get hot, win their last 5 games, whatever it is, we'll see. But this is phase 2. You had 13 games against your division. Mm-hmm. You had, like those tough series. They were 8-5 through that all. They had to survive it. They went 6-6 against the Rays and the Yankees to end their last road trip. And now it's like you got to go and play 600 ball. So you got 2 games more with the Royals, 3 with the Mariners, who are hot. Guess what? You probably got to win 5 of those games.
Well, you got to win.
No question.
You got to win 4 out of the next 5 minimum.
Yeah. And they got the A's. They got to sweep the A's. Like Kurtz is hurt. They got to sweep them.
So Little just struck out a guy with the bases loaded. Just update you. He struck out a guy with the bases loaded. So there's 2 out in the inning, and now they're taking him out. So he pitched 2/3 of an inning.
By the way, 2 things. Like, can we not talk about how easy the schedule is? Like, could we stop it with that? Didn't last night prove it? It means nothing. You got to play the games.
Well, the other teams are thinking the same thing.
You have to play the games. Of course.
You know what the other teams are doing? Oh, Toronto. Thank God.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then
they're below 500.
The Blue Jays have no one left on the schedule that's over 500, including themselves.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I don't think all these teams are bad. Everyone says the AL's bad.
No.
They have bad records. Okay. But this is what everyone wants. They want parity. They want everyone to have a chance.
No, and they got their wish.
Careful what you wish for. Because you know what you end up with? Garbage at the top. Every year, you should say, whoever your champion is, hey, where do they rank among the greatest? Do you think whoever wins this year in the AL or even the World Series is going to be compared to one of the, who's at that top? It's weak. So what they've done is it's been watered down. This is parity. You're going to get a 500 team make the playoffs.
Yeah, so then you get the Dodgers.
Hope everyone's happy.
Well, I don't.
Poor Dodgers. They lead the league in man games missed, so they really had to address their depth issues. So
yeah, it's been really tough. Glasnow just came back, and Snell just came back, and Edwin Diaz. Yeah, it's been really tough for them. Really hard road to hoe when you're the Dodgers. Quickly, let's talk about another piece of news that came out that got some people fired up. Got people in Toronto fired up. It got people in Montreal fired up, Gentile, and that was the NHL Network's ranking of centers heading into this NHL season coming up here. And our buddy Auston Matthews, Clarkie's boy, is ranked 8th. He's ranked ahead of Nick Suzuki, though. And people in Montreal were mighty upset about that. Nick Suzuki, by the way, coming off a 100-point campaign where he won the Selkes, just the 3rd player in NHL history to have 100 points and win the Selke. The other 2 were Sergei Fedorov with his beautiful white skates and Dougie Gilmour. So What was your interpretation of this list? Do you like the list? Matthews too low, too high? Should Suzuki have been ahead of him? Where would you have Matthews on this list? He's 8th for people listening.
Okay, put it this way. Would anyone on earth put him in the top 3 of this list?
No.
What about the top 5?
Maybe. You could make an argument. Maybe you could squeak him in at 5. I'd still have Sid ahead of him though. So like 6 is as high as I could.
Right. So we could argue one guy or the next. Maybe Matthews is 8, Suzuki's 9. Maybe you flip those two. That would be better. Maybe you flip Matthews with Crosby, fine. But what we learned is this is a guy that was 1, 2, or 3 on this list, and is not. He's kind of where he is. This is what number 34 is right now.
But yes, let's see how he is healthy, if he can be healthy.
Right.
That's all there is to it. I don't give a flying fadoo, as we used to say, about these rankings, to be honest with you, Ryan.
No, it's like everyone got mad when Darren Radish didn't make the top 20 defensemen on the same list.
He didn't deserve to be on that list.
No, and everyone was mad. How does a guy that finishes 7th in scoring? And then I went and I'm like, let me look at these defensemen. And I was like, oh, really? Victor Hedman. I'm not taking any of these guys and putting them behind Radish. So Clarkie's right. To get mad at these lists is sort of a waste of time. With Matthews, I mean, the only interesting part of the summer was that coach or that trainer kind of confirming he's had back.
Oh, the doctor, yeah.
Right?
The rehab guy down in Arizona. Yeah, that was an interesting conversation. Like we're looking at him right now, and we're not that far removed from a 60 and then a 69. He was ranked as high as 3rd on a number of lists in terms of best player in the league, let alone center, just a couple years ago. What, in your opinion, would constitute a good season for Auston Matthews? Healthy, let's say he plays 75 games, because he only played 82 once. I believe that was his second or the year he scored 69. The only time he's played a full schedule. We're going to 84. Let's give him 75 games. What's a successful stat line to you, Mike?
He's got to score close to 50 goals.
Yep.
If you're the captain of that team, if you're making 13 sheets a year, sorry, that's the price of business. That's what it is.
What's the minimum? What's the minimum he could score where you would go, I'm fine with that? 40?
Once again, closer to 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I totally agree.
It ain't 39 and it ain't 69. But like, what have we done with the expectations here now? Like, is this guy just a 40-goal scorer? And that's
we got to have 52. There's got to be a 52 in there somewhere, right?
Like I'm just saying it's not 60, 69. I get that, but you got to be pushing 50. I mean, Ovi's still pushing mid-30s at this point. What's the excuse?
Don't get him started.
Sorry.
Don't get him started.
I don't need to get started. He's the greatest goal
scorer.
He's
getting started.
He's the bar. There's no getting started. It's finished.
You know what's weird, though? Like, you got Matthews and this timeline of 2 years with the Leafs. And separate from that, you got McKenna and everything else. It's like there's 2 timelines going together. Like, Matthews is in the Bobrovsky, Radish, Nyes, Nylander timeline. And then there's like this second timeline where it's like McKenna, Nyes is in that one as well. Cowan, blah, blah, blah. It's just a bizarre 2 years. Like they sort of got to get it done in 2 years, but they kind of got to get it done this year.
We're going to be fine.
They got to have a big bounce back for sure, and he has to be a huge catalyst of it. Gentile, let me get a prediction for you. We're almost out of time here. Where do you see the Leafs finishing in the Atlantic Division?
Ooh.
I think they're 3rd.
Who's ahead? Montreal, Buffalo. Who's ahead of them? Boston. Who's ahead of them?
I think Montreal finishes 1st, and I think Buffalo finishes 2nd.
Yeah, so, I would have in no particular order, like Montreal, Buffalo, Tampa, maybe. Tampa's weird because suddenly they can't get out of the first round. Mm-hmm. Florida, we don't know. Like, Florida's either going to be really, really good or goons with a 500 record.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to predict.
We'll see.
But I think the Leafs would be way more competitive than people would suggest. I also think the goaltending, you're getting Bobrovsky pissed off. He didn't like how things ended.
Hope so.
Good.
I don't know
I
how
hope
he's
so.
going to be in year 2 or in year 3. He's going to be a homicidal lunatic this year.
Good.
And if you're a Leafs
So we
fan, that's
need-
what you want. You got that guy at the right time.
Hopefully you're right.
Sure.
So
hopefully
I
you're right.
you know, to me, sky's kind of the limit. I mean, I like them better than Boston. I'm not in love with the Bruins.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with Detroit.
Yeah.
I think
No.
Ottawa's going to have a bad year. Sorry.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
So
It'll be interesting stuff.
Had Sabres, you're sort of in that range, and then they'll be battling with the Floridas, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Clarky will
my
take it,
God.
I'm sure.
Jesus.
Well, Mike, we really appreciate this, brother. We always appreciate your insight. Thanks for doing this, man.
Time always flies. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, man.
Have a good one.
Absolutely. Thanks to
Two
our buddy
former
Mike
fan
Hogan.
guys on today.
Yes,
Gentile
two
and
former
Hogan.
fan guys.
We had
Mike
Hoagie on
Hogan.
earlier.
Oh, no, wait.
Mike
Yep. Hogan here. Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Howdy. Hogan here.
Howdy,
The
howdy.
voice of our boatman. So we thank
Yeah,
him.
he's
We
the
thank
best.
Mike Gentile. Thank
See
you
ya,
guys
buddy.
for watching and listening. Remember, you can follow us at Instigating Pod on social media. Find us all over on all your favorite podcast apps, on Rogers TV, and of course on YouTube. We will see you next week with more Instigating. Stay tuned.